let's say that you have an ACT database that is actually copied onto two different computers. That's possible to do, and you can synchronize it, and we'll talk about that later on as well. But let's say on one of the computers you like to use an 800 by 600 resolution, but on the other one you want to use a 1024 by 768. Maybe it's the desktop that you can use the 1024 by 768 on, and you have an older laptop that only carries 800 by 600. Well, if you had to constantly be changing the resolution and kind of moving things around, that would be a pain in the neck. So ACT took that into consideration, and we have at the bottom of the screen, at the bottom left corner, we have a Layout tab. If we click on the Layout tab, as you can see, you can choose between the basic contact layout, which is 1024 by 768, the basic contact layout, which is 800 by 600, or the ACT 8 demo layout. And you can actually build your own layouts as well. We're going to talk about that later on. Right now I just want to show you where these are, and let's say that we decided we wanted to go to the 1024 by 768 layout. Well, what you'll see is that by changing to that layout, which ACT is in the process of doing, it puts more information out there for me, but I can't see it all on this screen. If I click and drag down on this line using the Windows tools to do that, I can get more information in there, and then I might be able to scroll over, but of course that's not going to be the way to use this, right? Notice that we've got spouse's birthday up here now, messenger ID, some things that otherwise I would have to be on more than one tab. In other words, this is covering more than one tab just in one screen, if I've got the real estate to handle that. So it depends on how you want to set up the system, how you want to create the layouts. But each one of these fields is customizable to a point as well. Let's go back to the 800 by 600, and you can see how quickly we can do that. No muss, no fuss. There we go. And we're back to 800 by 600, and I can scooch that up a little bit. Scooch, that is a word. And then what we can do is, if I decide that I want to add in some additional titles. So for example, if I wanted to add it in so that I could quickly type part of a title, or so that I could select the title, I'm going to click on the drop down for titles, and I'm going to click on Edit List Values. And then we can quickly see what the titles are that we have right now. We can delete those that we don't need to have anymore, or we can add in those that we do want to have. Like, so for example, if I did not need to have, say, the title of lawyer, then I could click on lawyer and click on delete. It says, are you sure you want to take that out of the list? I say, that's what I want to do. I know what I'm doing. And then if I wanted to add one in, click on add, and then type in, notice that my cursor is right here now, and so I'm just going to type in, say, Supreme Commander. And you could put a description of Supreme Commander if you wanted to. But the main thing is now that when I click on OK here, and that when I decided to create a new contact and I start typing SUP, then it'll fill in Supreme Commander for me. So it depends on what titles you want to use and how you want to use those. But that's just one example. Let's say that I wanted to populate it with cities, with the cities that I have. So for example, we've got Cleveland for this one, and notice that there's a lot of C's here: Carson City, Charleston, Charlotte. Now if I use one it can add to the list as well. But if I click on Edit List Values, then what I can do is make it remember it. In other words, I can use a city and it'll add to my database, but it won't automatically remember that, so that I can just type a little bit of that city. So notice we've got a lot of cities already listed here, but I could list more if I wanted to. So it's very easy to customize further into whatever layout that you want by customizing the individual fields that are in the layout. So as you can see, there's a lot of flexibility built into the system, and the flexibility is all built in so that you can work with your contacts in the most efficient manner. And so in our next section, we're going to talk about working with your contacts. That's next.